Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter John. Welcome you back to Second and 10 NCAA tournament, where some matchups from some teams from 2010s onwards go for glory and to get that eighth spot in that NCAA tournament, which I'll do not double elimination, but uh, match play. Last week we saw Oklahoma State, the 2011 squad, crush Western Kentucky. 2015 Western Kentucky like a grape, 58-13. Baylor, the 2011 Baylor squad went into Mexico to beat the Lobos 44-27 thanks to RG3. Brandon Whedon, the world's oldest rookie. There's 21 Cincy losing in Stanford against the 2010 squad. Stephen Taylor running all over the place. 2011 Northern Illinois losing the 2010 Nevada 56-35 thanks to Kaepernick. 2010 Auburn survives 2022 Troy 21-13. They only win by 8 points. 23 James Madison beats 2016 Western Michigan. The team that went undefeated went to the Cotton Bowl 42-28. 2010 Oregon crushed Ohio like a grape 43-7 thanks to Marcus Mariota. And 2011 South Carolina survives 2012 Kent thanks to Marcus Limore's touchdown. So we go to the quarterfinals, and this is the quarterfinals. We are going to watch South Carolina Auburn last because that's an SEC battle. But we go east to west. Well, technically Auburn would go first, actually, east to west, because you got 2 games out west. But we're going to start in Baylor, as Stanford and Baylor will go toe-to-toe, 2 good quarterbacks. Stephen Taylor and Ryan Hewitt will run the ball. Doug Baldwin, future Seahawk James Lofton is part of the legend team, and Zach Martin's future Eagle receiver. Offensive line, Derek Hall, David Casper, Chase Wheeler, Andrew Phillips, and John Martin. Baylor's D-line, Terrence Lawrence, Tracy Robinson, Elliott, and Gary Mason. Elliott Coffey, Ahmad Dixon, Mike Singletary, because this is legend team. At linebacker, KJ Morton, Mike Hicks, Paul, and Chase Esposito, and Eric Louise. I know a lot of people would say, what about the Stanford team in 2016? I almost put that in 2016 with the Stanford team, because that 2015, sorry, that's the team that crushed Iowa with the Rose Bowl, but as this Stanford team actually was 4 at one point.
First down.
Robert T. Griffin, a name, Philip Blake, Kevin Koffel, and Cyril Richardson. Matthew Maspila, Sion Yula, Tom Kaiser, Brian Volkel for your D-line. Owen Marasek, Shane Scoff, and Chase Thomas for your linebackers. Richard Sherman, yes, that Richard Sherman, future Seahawk, Delano, Howard Michael Thomas, and Johnson, Cardinals, and Bees. For Baylor, this was the team that RG3 led to yes, and this was his draft year. Here's there.
First down. The point is good.
Is good. That's this. I don't think that's this game. Well, it's leading 47 to 16. Wow. I'll say that's a blow. Okay, you know what? Only 3 for 2 touchdowns, but he ran for 2, so he outdid Baylor by himself. Baylor had the passing yards, but nothing else. Stanford, no turnovers, no sacks. Only took 1 penalty. Clean. Griffin, the third, 23 for 32, 234 touchdown, and a pick. Luck, 12 for 18, 178, 2 touchdowns. Elway, 2 for 3, 13 yards. So Gaffney, touchdown run. Griffin, the third, 21-yard touchdown run. And then Taylor ran for 3. And then, in brackets, Brent's return block, extra point for 2 points. You don't see that every day. And then that second quarter, Luck with that 44-yard touchdown run. Luck to Whalen, and then Stephon Taylor with a touchdown run. Baylor was basically OUT. Cartridges Robson for Stanford, all restoring points. Baylor had 2. And Owuzu out for Stanford. You know the guy who made that great catch in 2010 off the back of a defender. So Stanford's in the semifinals. Now we head to Nevada. Yeah, that's right. Oklahoma State in Nevada. Brandon Weeden, the world's oldest quarterback rookie, NFL rookie. Said pivot, Joe Randall run the ball, Josh Blackman, Josh Cooper, Isaiah Anderson, and Tim offensive line, Levy Adcock, Nick Martinez, Grant Garner, Blaine Taylor, and Brown. For Nevada's D line, Ryan Colson, Zach Leonard, Brett Roy, Dante Mock. Linebackers, Kevin Krebs, J.M. Johnson, and Brandon Marshall. Not that, Brandon. Isaiah Frey, Marlon Johnson, Joe Miller, and Pete Williams. I don't know much about these 2 teams in essence. Oklahoma State, I don't know much about. They did okay.
First down. Defense. First down. First down. First down.
Live on the play.
Roughing the passer. Defense.
Live on the play.
Delay of game. Offense.
Sean Matthews, Brendan Weberly, Malcolm Shepard, or Steve Smith Jr. Tight end. O-line, Jose Acuna, Chris Barker, Jeff Leeds, John Bender, and Jeff Navy. Okay, State Steve Line, Jimmy Blatnick, is that Jeff Blatnick's son? Nigel Nicholas, Anthony Rogers, and Richard Jones. Alex Wilkins, Kiro Lake, Digital News, and Redbackers, Justin Gilbert, Dayton Love, Markel Martin, and Roger Bradley. Nevada in 2010, they pulled off a massive upset on the final day of the regular season, beating Boise State and ruined their chances for the season title.
Live on the play.
Roughing the passer. Defense. First down.
Live on the play.
Illegal use of hands. Offense.
Yep.
Flag on the play.
False start. Offense. First down.
Now you got my team.
Flag on the play.
Pass interference. Defense.
Flag on the play.
Holding. Offense.
Flag on the play.
Personal foul. Defense.
I'm gonna give it back. Five touchdown passes. Now, we knew he had to do it. Nevada had the rushing attack. And all those. Kaepernick, 17 for 23, 273, 2 touchdowns. And Mary Mosley ran for 145 and 2 touchdowns. It's like, we didn't 34 for 42, 430, 5 touchdowns. Randall ran for 156. Cooper and Moore caught for more than 100 yards. You see the scores, you see the fun, you see the sun. Trips on the red zone for Oklahoma State, and they had points in everyone. Nevada had 5. Efficient. Yeah, 62 to 38. Wow. No, Nevada didn't have ball or Drake. Martinez was there. So 62-38. That's amazing. And you know what's crazy? Oklahoma State had 62 points. Stanford Baylor had 63 combined. That's amazing. Now, Oregon. Well, they have the home team advantage. That's him. He was the quarterback for Oregon. Actually, not for this season. Michael James will run the ball. Michael James. Jeff Mayo. Davis, Josh Alfred, David Paulson, and Stevens. David Williams, Mark Asper. Jordan Holmes, Chris Burton, C.E. Kaiser. James Madison, Newline. Miguel Camarada, James Carpenter, Jalen Green, Jordan Chroma. Aiden Fisher, Jalen Walker, Torres Jones, linebackers. Chauncey Logan, Francis Gay, and Jake Thompson. Leandro Pond, and DBs. For Origami. And know what to do. Titan 10, they were in the finals against Auburn. 86 pounds, lost by 3 points. They actually thought they had won the game. But, you know, Michael Dyer was down, but he's on top of the defenders. And that's Sundla. Running back. Elijah Surratt, Reggie Brown, Phoenix, opposing KYI. Keyshawn Wyatt, Cole Potts, Tanner Morris, Carter Miller, Tyler Stevens, Line, Oregon D-line, Kenny Roper, Brandon Barrett, Travis Warner. Linebackers for the Peasy Matthews, Clay, Josh Kepi with Spencer Paysaver, Cliff Harris, they decided to Raider, John Boya, Eddie Clausen, and Thomas Jackson with DBs.
Flag on the play.
Delay of game. Offense. Good.
Down 7-3.
Flag on the play.
Holding. Offense.
The kick is good.
Got it.
Flag on the play.
Offsides. Offense.
Flag on the play.
Illegal contact. Defense.
Touchdown. The extra point is good.
Timeout. Defense. First down.
Cal 2040 win 242, 2 touchdowns, and interceptions. So yeah, James Madison gave Oregon a fright. Really good. Only 2 trips to the rest for James Madison. 5. James Madison was so close to pulling it out for the semifinals. That would be amazing. Mariota, 2 touchdowns, interception for the night, and then for now, the home teams need another win, and Auburn will face South Carolina, but they have 2 good quarterbacks. This is an SEC battle. Carolina. Their helmets look similar. Connor Shaw ended up facing Carolina. Grab a sideways, Dalton Wilson, run the ball, outshine Jeffrey. That's how you spell my Eagles name. Jason Barnes receiving 40% Mike Matulis, AJ Cann, TJ Johnson, rookie, Watkins, and Paladine. Reminds the Auburn's D-line. Anton Carter sacked play with Nick Bailey and was a great Darren Bates and Josh Spines and Craig Stevens, linebackers, Evan Washington, Zach Everidge. Was he a man? He just became a new foot work. South Carolina.
Flag on the play.
False start. Offense.
Cam Newton, the quarterback prototype, who did well and almost won the Super Bowl with the Panthers. Had it 2 years with the Pats. Riley Bennett running the ball, Terrell Zachary, Jordan Adams, Derek Winter, Philip Lexington are your receivers. Brandon Mosley, McBerry, Ryan Peel. Ryan Peel, D-line balcony, Tilbury Robinson, Chelsea Cruz, and Devin Taylor. Linebackers Richard Bowens and Hawk and Shaq Wilson. Stephen Gilmore, Greg Blair from Patriot. DJ Smerringer, Antonio Allen, and CC Whitlock. So Auburn winning the 2010 national championship. They have a tough time with Oregon. They might retire in the same game.
Holding. Receiving team.
Flag on the play.
Offsides. Defense.
Touchdown.
Holding. Offense.
Flag on the play.
Offsides. Defense.
Touchdown.
Good.
The kick is good.
One interception and 22.1. Again, almost as many benches compared to aspects. Again, with 60%. Shaw, Sharp, and Garcia just Garcia for the interception and his own ball. Yeah, Cam Newton did this job. Touchdown run. More trips to the red zone for them, 2 for South Carolina. And no one was on. Cool. Alright. So, one non-blowout, and that was the crazy one. Everyone thought Oregon James Madison would be a blowout, but Oregon won by 4. Oregon State beats Nevada by 24. Auburn beats South Carolina by 2 touchdowns, and Stanford crushes Baylor by 31. Let's look at the summary. Brandon Weeden, the NFL's oldest rookie, is your player of the week. 430 yards passing. Joe Randall, Murray Motley, and Cam Newton ran for 100 yards. Randall was number 1. Owen Mazurek of Stanford is your defensive player of the week, and Oklahoma State's Quinn Sharp is the special teams player of the week. So through 2 games, Brandon Weeden's thrown 840 yards, which is pretty good. Robert Griffin the third, second. Jordan McLeod third, but they're both out. Mary Motley leads running with 271, and they're out. Then you got LaMichael James, and Joe Randall. Points leader Sharp has 30, Randall 24, so it's Maurer. Now, where the semifinals going to be? Well, sorry, I got to do click. And it's going to be Auburn, Oregon. Wow. And Stanford has to go to Oklahoma State. Wow. But look at that. Auburn and Oregon are drawing against each other, and Oregon gets the home game. So, man, 3 teams from 2010, 1 from 2011. So I guess the newer seasons, it didn't really matter. But, yeah, 2010 looks pretty good with those 3 schools, Auburn, Oregon, and Stanford, with Oklahoma State trying to be the interloper. So, yeah, this is going to be one hell of a semifinal between Auburn and Oregon next week. So, that's all I got. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.